Hey, hey, hey. Happy Monday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. Yes, welcome aboard. Tonight is Monday, August 10th, 2020. This is episode 524 of The Daily Dope. So if this is your first time joining me, let me point out this is very, very casual, just talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. So we're going to talk about some board games, card games, RPGs, miniature games. If it's on your tabletop, we're talking about it. Every once in a while, we'll chat a little bit about PC games, maybe some pop culture. But for the most part, it is almost all tabletop gaming around these here parts. Do want to remind you that if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And by all means, if you do subscribe, ring that notification bell because it will not only let you know when the Daily Dope streams live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my recent reviews. So I had some new reviews. I will talk about those in just a bit. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Because this is a live show, that also means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I try to avoid some of the more unusual commenters, but I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, by all means, chime in and I will do my best to respond. Sometimes chat flies by kind of quickly. So, going to jump into the news in just a bit. I got a nice eclectic bunch of gaming news for us to talk about, but do want to mention that it was a good thing that I had all my news done and everything all ready for the show. I finished that up last night because today's been a crazy day. I will talk about that after the news, as well as something else that I want to float out there as well. All right, so I see Flaming Heron is the first to chime in chat. Good to see you, Flaming Heron. Welcome aboard. So let's dive on into the news because I've got quite a bit of it. And now available from Daily Magic Games is Margraves of Valeria. Here's the dope. Margraves of Valeria is a hand-building worker placement game set in the fantasy world of Valeria. It's the 5th standalone game in the series and brings the familiar feel of the previous games with icons, characters, and easy turns, while building on familiar mechanics you'd expect: off-turn bonuses, multi-use cards, and resource management. You are a Margrave. Did I say Margraves? It's Margrave. I knew I was going to say Margrave because something else. It's a different fantasy thing. Anyway, you are a Margrave, a military commander tasked with defending the land of Valeria and building magical ward towers at cities. Knights in Valeria can be commanded by you or your fellow Margraves to slay monsters or activate locations in an effort to gain influence over the 4 guilds: Worker, Soldier, Shadow, and Holy. As you gain influence, you'll cross thresholds that will earn you privilege tiles, which give you bonuses. At the end of the game, you'll earn victory points based on how much influence you have over a guild and how many icons you've gained of that guild. The Margrave with the most victory points at the end of the game will be named a Duke or Duchess. and given their own province to protect and grow. Turns are deceptively simple, as you only get to play one citizen card from your hand. Each card can be played for action icons in the pennant, top left, power text at the bottom, or played face down to perform one of the two actions on your player board. Recall your cards or build a ward tower. Margraves of Valeria is for 2 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 1 to 2 hours, does carry an MSRP of $60, and it is out now. I have to say, I've not played a lot of the Valeria games. I know I just did the Kickstarter preview for Shadowlands of Valeria, and I also have played and reviewed Thieves Guild. I'm sorry, Thieves Den is what it was called. I enjoyed that a lot. I liked Shadowlands. These Valeria games are pretty good, I think. I think they're pretty good. So definitely check that out. As I mentioned, it is out in stores right now. Plaid Hat Games has announced a subscription service as well as an update to their Ashes Rise of the Phoenixborn expandable card game. This is going to be in tandem with Team Covenant. Here's the dope. Just when you thought the mighty Phoenixborn had faded into the unknown, an ally appears, and thus a partnership between Plaid Hat Games and Team Covenant is forged. Together, these two companies are working to provide a subscription service that will provide new Ashes releases every 3 months. The first release will be the Ashes Reborn 1.5 upgrade kit. Why 1.5? We've gone through every single card that has been released for the game and have assessed and reevaluated each one. It's the same game you've always loved, but many cards have been reworded, improved, or rebalanced, and all will appear in the upgrade kit. Future printings of the core Rise of the Phoenixborn set, as well as all the expansions, will be updated to include 1.5 revisions. The second new Ashes Reborn release will be a brand new deluxe expansion deck, the Breaker of Fate. This expansion features fan favorite Jericho, who now has the ability to wield time magic. Time magic. This deluxe kit has a deck with brand new cards, the new time dice, and of course, plenty of room to hold a deck, conjurations, and all your dice and counters. Once these two sets have been released, new Ashes content will be released every 3 months in the form of 2 new expansion decks. In order to kick off this player-driven production, we need 1,000 subscribers to sign up. Once that goal is met, production will begin to bring each subscriber the hefty Ashes Reborn 1.5 upgrade kit, which will include the new, you guessed it, 1.5 version rulebook, along with more than 350 updated cards from the 23 original products in the Ashes line. Each upgrade kit also comes with enough copies of every revised card to reach the legal deck building limit of that card, or I should say for that card. This subscription service will be handled directly by Team Covenant and will be available to residents of the United States and Canada. These subscriptions will each run $29.99. I got to be honest, I don't know if that is the pricing for the 1.5 update, because that sounds like a lot of cards, over 350, plus the new rules. So I don't know if that's going to be $29.99, but that is kind of what I have been led to believe. Got to be honest, I have never played Ashes at all. I am not familiar with this card game whatsoever. I'm kind of shocked to see that there are something like 23 expansions for this. Pretty crazy. I got to say the artwork is fantastic, though. It's phenomenal looking artwork. So I don't know. We will have to see what happens. I guess they decided Kickstarter wasn't really the way to go with this because it's going to be a subscription service. Also, I do believe, and I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure right now, any of the original Ashes Rise of the Phoenixborn is 50% off at the Plaid Hat store. I thought I saw that somewhere along the way. So we've got the Madman has joined us. Good to see you. Hopefully you're not getting hit by that crazy weather that just ran through here in Illinois. Because I know the Madman's up in Michigan. So I think Michigan was getting hit with some of that. William McGinnis is also here. So, oh, there we go. The Madman just said, I'm waiting on some nasty storms to hit. Yes, I sent them my way. I did not send them the Madman's way. I did not. I didn't want the storms. That's one of the reasons why there was almost no show today. But like I said, I'll talk about some crazy stuff after the news. Because I think we might have some new folks kind of hanging out, checking out the show this evening. Anyway, moving right along, let's get on to some role-playing game news because there is a new urban fantasy / horror role-playing game. It's up for crowdfunding on Kickstarter. It's from newcomers Witch and Craft Games. And I've got the dope on 12 Inner Demons. It's either 12 or it's XII. Honestly, I think it's 12. Grab a quick sip here. Demons are real. Parasitic beings only loosely related to the creatures of myth. They feed on suffering, devouring the traumas of the weak and downtrodden. You are the poor soul who has experienced a very special kind of trauma, so special that it's caught the eye of a truly dangerous enemy, the most monstrous and impossible of their kind. With the help of a ragtag band of lesser demons who certainly don't have your best interest at heart, or perhaps another human with a kindred soul and no clue what they're getting into, you have 12 days to confront the suffering that has been plaguing you or face a very unfortunate end indeed. 12 Inner Demons is an urban survival horror fantasy tabletop role-playing game, say that 5 times fast, set in a world much like our own, but with a lurking layer of supernatural predation and nightmare just out of sight. The players take on the roles of either mortal humans thrust into a deadly game to confront their worst fears or be devoured by a nightmarish otherworldly threat, or lesser demons working alongside these humans in search of power and to escape the ensuing collateral damage when one of the strongest members of their kind tears its way into the world to devour a human. With 12 days before an archdemon rips through the fabric of reality to devour one of the humans and any unfortunate others who happen to be caught up along the way, it's up to the players to stop it. To do so, they must hunt down 6 seals, anchor points, that have tied themselves to the target human's greatest traumas and fears and unravel them before they can pull the archdemon into reality. But these seals are guarded by monstrous servants and other demons, eager to stall the players and feast on their delicious fear, all the while. It'll be up to them to either overcome those demons or face their own and resolve the roots of the trauma that powers each seal. Between the pages, 12 Inner Demons uses a straightforward and flexible 3D10 system with an emphasis on easy-to-use abilities and quick and efficient mechanics. Players always roll 3D10, or sometimes more, and count up the number of dice that they've rolled over a target number. The more successes they get, the better they manage to do, whatever it is they're doing. Players can modify these rolls by purchasing competences for humans or powers for demons, which allow them to add extra dice to their pool, though they'll still only ever pick 3 dice to choose from. These competences and powers also give abilities and effects for players to use, from direct information from the GM to extra dice on different rolls to things like shape-shifting and possession. There are many options to shape your characters to face any obstacle. 12 is best experienced with 3 to 5 players, but is flexible enough to include more or less if the GM is willing. There is no video for this Kickstarter. I was kind of surprised. But the Kickstarter for 12 Inner Demons runs through August 31st. You can reserve a copy of the game as well as unlock stretch goals in PDF for a $15 pledge, in softcover for a $30 pledge, or in hardcover for a $40 pledge. And expected delivery pretty fast turnaround on this. The expected delivery would be this November. Nice. I stumbled across this and I thought this looked kind of interesting. It almost has a vibe to me. Now, just me, right? I'm not sure if folks out there remember the comic book from Sam Keith. I think it's Sam Keith. I know the last name's Keith. The Max. And MTV actually made a cartoon series of it. And it's kind of, I don't know, it just kind of has that, seems to have that vibe a little bit to me, where it's, I mean, granted, the Max wasn't a demon, and there was, you know, it was the Outback. I forget what it was called, the mystical Outback. But the whole tragedy and trauma kind of setting things off, I don't know, kind of gives me that vibe a little bit. It's kind of interesting. Be worth a peek. And I'll jump back to the news piece again. I like the artwork. I think the artwork looks pretty nice. So who knows? It strikes me as this is probably a game that would be best as a like short campaign, maybe like 2-3 sessions kind of game. I can't picture this being something that you would play out for months at a time, but this could be kind of interesting. Check it out. So these are the newcomers Witch and Craft games. So I've got the itch address down there for you as well. Moving right along, let's talk about saving some money and an awesome humble bundle that is going on right now. I think, if I remember correctly, I believe our viewer, A Gray Day, who isn't happening to be hanging out tonight, mentioned this last week. So I did want to share this with you because right now you can score a humble bundle with just about everything for Star Trek Adventures from Modiphius Entertainment. Here's the dope. Humble Bundle RPG Book Bundle Star Trek Adventures RPG. How many times do you want to say RPG, guys? By no mobi. Jeez. So busy saying, how many times do you want to say RPG? I can't even say Modiphius. It's like, geez, Jeff. And Mark Clement is joining us in chat as well. Good to see you, Mark. Thanks for popping in on a Monday evening. All right, so here's the news. We've teamed up with Modiphius for our newest bundle. Get role-playing games and ebooks like Star Trek Adventures Starter Set, Star Trek Adventures Core Book. I'm not going to repeat the Star Trek Adventures for every part of this. Get the Alpha Quadrant Supplement, Deep Space Nine characters, next-gen characters, the original series characters, tons of stuff. So first off, you can also get the 368-page hardcover of Star Trek Adventures, the core rulebook, for 50% off. So you can get it for $30 if you pay $8 or more. Plus, do want to point out your purchase is going to support the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. So for $1, you can receive the original series characters PDF. These are all PDFs. The next generation character PDFs, and the starter set, which I am not familiar with the Star Trek Adventures starter set at all. I didn't realize they had one. I don't know if it's a box. Well, you're getting the PDF, but I don't know if Modiphius released a boxed set or not, or if it's just a PDF that they've done. But still, that's for $1. For one lonely little dollar, you can get that. For $8, you can score such titles as the core rulebook, the GM screen. These are the Voyagers Adventure Supplement, and lots more. For $15, you'll receive essentially the entire collection outside of the new Klingon rulebook that just came out. And there was a brand new adventure that just came out last week. But pretty much everything else is included. I might be off by, one or two things. There might be a few standalone PDFs that aren't part of this, but I'm telling you, if you take a look at this Humble Bundle, it's rocking. So for 15 bucks, you get the Command Operations and Science Division supplements, the Alpha Quadrant supplement, the Strange New Worlds Adventure supplement, and more. So once again, this is a pretty amazing deal. You can score these awesome savings through August 19th. Sweet. Very, very sweet. Very, very nice bundle. Also, do want to point out that because this does benefit charity, you can change the amount that you pay. So if you want to have a larger donation going to the NAACP Defense Fund, Legal Defense Fund, I should say, then you can increase it. So do want to point that out. It just will default. So man, that is incredible. That is really wild. And I have reviewed the core rulebook. I thought it was really good. It is kind of middle of the pack as far as crunchiness with the Modiphius 2D20 system. I know some people out there are not real familiar with the 2D20, or they've heard that it's like really, really crunchy. It is with the Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of. It's a bit crunchier. It's much lighter in the John Carter Warlord of Mars. Star Trek Adventures is about right in the middle. It's kind of in the middle. So Mark's asking, is it skill-based? It is, but it's not, you don't have a huge number of skills. It's not like, say, Chaosium's basic role-playing system, right? Like Call of Cthulhu or, say, RuneQuest. It does have skills in it, but they're pretty broad. They're pretty broad skills. So Flaming Huron says, even though I got the bundle of holding bundles, which were on offer in the past, it's still a good deal to pick up whatever they were missing. Yep. So the Madman says, I'd be interested in Star Trek Adventures, but my gaming groups don't tend to like to stray from the game systems they know. I completely understand that. I completely get that. Some people don't want to dip their toes in unfamiliar waters. So Flaming Heron is pointing out that, yes, it runs off skills and stats, a lot of key skills off those stats. I don't remember there being tons of skills. Then again, it's been a while since I looked at the book. I reviewed the PDF. I don't actually have the book. I would actually like to have the book. So there we go. Very, very cool bundle to save yourself a lot of money on the Star Trek Adventures, which I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised that the Humble Bundle is out there for this, but hey, take advantage while you can. My final news piece, there is a new Graham Davis adventure for 4th edition Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. It's a ride from Cubicle 7, and I've got the dope on It's Your Funeral. At Gen Con 2019, the legendary RPG creator, Graham Davis, who I have interviewed and I get to talk to every once in a while, he's actually really nice, pretty cool guy, hosted a talk called Whose Night is Rough Anyway, in which he described the process of creating multi-plot adventures like those in Rough Nights and Hard Days for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. As the audience called out ideas, the germ of this adventure was created. Interestingly enough, I was asked to record that, but I had something set up that night. I wasn't able to do it. The Garden of Moor is the ultimate leveling ground for the great, the good, and the grubby. Regardless of rank or social status, there's room in Moor's realm for all those who shuffle, march, or otherwise stumble off this mortal coil. Granted, some of these graves are a little less well presented than others, and the space given over to paupers is a little better than a pit, but even so. When news of the passing of the beloved Dr. Albrecht Lierman began to circulate, those grateful souls whose lives he had saved over his 40-year career began to gather together in mourning. Unfortunate, then, that the Countess Elise von Furstenrecht should choose about the same time to take her own parting from the world. Both groups of mourners throng the graveyard, and more than one shifty-looking individual can be spotted, each pursuing their own agenda, while arguments rage over who should be laid to rest first. Can the characters brave the twisting parallel threads of intrigue that flow throughout the day's events? Or will they be left puzzled by the plethora of cold bodies, open graves, forgotten errors, and hidden threats? Well, it's Your Funeral. It's Your Funeral is an adventure suitable for most parties of skillful investigators. It can be used as a standalone adventure or easily woven into any ongoing Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay campaign. The 21-page adventure PDF is now available over at DriveThruRPG for $3.99. Sweet. Nice, very nice. Mark Clement was asking about the Star Trek FASA game, and he's like, oh, I just revealed my age. Hey, a lot of us played the Star Trek FASA game. My best friend Elliot Miller ran that for us. That was one of the games that he would run, was the FASA Star Trek back in the day. Anyway, so that is a brand new Wifrip adventure that's available on DriveThruRPG. It's Graham Davis. I always like Graham's work. And of course, whenever I mention DriveThruRPG, the Gaming Gang, and of course, the Daily Dope, are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to go visit, say, DriveThruRPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banner ads, and that way, if you do make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. Very little portion of that sale. But you know what? It all adds up. And there are a lot of folks out there who really help out keeping the Gaming Gang around by clicking on our banners. And it's really, really appreciated. All right. So let's take a peek at chat here, and then I'll tell you what was going on. It's something I'm bouncing around. So, yeah, so Fleming Heron's like, yep, yeah, Mark, we're all showing our age because we've all played the fastest Star Trek, probably not long after it came out. Anyways, Pinky's down here carrying on. Relax there, Pinko. So, a couple of things. So, first of all, it was a good thing that I had planned ahead and had all my news and everything all set up and ready to go last night, because I had to go in for a stress test today. So those of you who might be new to the show, new to the channel, may not know, back on March 15th of 2018, I had a near fatal heart attack. So knock on wood, right? Still hanging around. So my cardiologist had sent me to go have a stress test. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. So I show up thinking it's just going to be a regular stress test. I'm just going to do the treadmill and I'll be on my way. Well, that wasn't the case. It was a nuclear stress test. So I got there at 8 o'clock this morning and I got home at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So it was like, and then right about 3:30, the storm hit. So we had a big storm. The madman had mentioned that the storm is heading their way. And I got to say, it was crazy. We had the tornado siren going off. And, I went and took a peek to see if I saw any like funnel clouds outside. And then all of a sudden, this rain just came down. And so I popped back inside and I'm watching and I'm seeing the trees just bending over. I'm like, uh-oh. And I saw like a huge branch flying by and I could hear stuff hitting the windows. And I was like, okay, I'm hitting the basement. Hitting the basement with the cats. Yeah, never know. I mean, the tornado siren was going off. So then, of course, the power was out. So the power was out for a while. And like I said, it was a good thing that I had all the news and everything ready last night, because otherwise there would not have been a show. Because usually what I do is I do the news in the morning and I get everything ready. And there's something that pops up, in the early afternoon that I squeeze in there. I'll squeeze that in. So yeah, pretty crazy. So Flaming Heron was asking if It's Your Funeral is part of the Ubersreich Adventure Bundle 2. I don't think so. I don't believe it is. One of the reasons why I mentioned that is, and if you want, I'll go back to the news piece. If we look at the cover is different because the Ubersreich adventures have like a blue, like kind of a blue background, and they do actually, if I remember right, I think they do say Ubersreich on them. So, but still, $4 for an adventure, that's not so bad. Especially the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay stuff. Excuse me, they tend to squeeze some good stuff in their pages. It's not a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of background and stuff like that, but there's a lot going on. It's not like some adventures. It's 20 pages long, and it's essentially 2 encounters. It's just a bunch of like, wow, okay. See a lot of that on DM's Guild. So anyway, so Mark Clements up in Montreal, good deal, very nice. So the Madman says that they noticed I had a little glow about me. No, I actually turned down the ISO a little bit on the camera because I know people like being brighter. I understand that. I get that. But I also look so washed out. I always look really washed out. Although, I have a lot of blemishes on my face and yeah, what can you do? All right, so the Madman says looks like the storm's probably gonna pass them by. Nice, very good, very cool. So, all right. Anyway, other thing I want to mention is popped up quite a few different reviews over the weekend. So if you missed it, I reviewed the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Game Master screen that also comes with this reference book, which I found very good. I found it very interesting. A lot of good, helpful tips for game masters. Here's the actual screen. Also shared my review for the Call of Cthulhu 7th edition Keeper Screen Pack, which is phenomenal. I gave it a 10 out of 10. It's probably the best Game Master screen package I have ever seen because not only is it the Game Master screen, it's an 88-page booklet with 2 very solid adventures to it. There are 3 posters, character sheets, you have pre-gens for the adventures. Yeah, really, really nice. Really well done. Also did my review for Imperial Struggle from GMT Games. And I gotta be honest, boy, I tell you, the grognards out there, depending on how you want to pronounce it, they are a fussy bunch. I swear, whenever I do my war game reviews and that, and I specifically did not go into the deep dive detail on this because there's a lot going on. They're so fussy. I get more thumbs down on wargaming stuff than anything, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know what you're expecting, folks. I really don't know. And I find it kind of unusual. And I like the guys from the Player's Aid. I mean, I don't catch their stuff too often, but I've met Alexander and Grant. They're cool guys. The funny thing is, if you check out some of their reviews, I mean, I haven't watched a lot of their reviews. I have seen some of their reviews, especially for stuff from like companies that just don't like me. Like Compass Games. Sometimes something will pop up and be like, hey, I wonder what they think of that. They rarely actually show you much of the game. It's most of the time it's the two of them sitting there talking about the game. And I'm kind of surprised because aren't most gamers like, hey, I want to see the game? I don't know. It's like I said, war gamers tend to be very fussy. But just so you know, 8.5 out of 10. I really do like it. I've only played it a couple of times, but I didn't want to have to sit on it for any longer to try to get another game in because it could be another month or two before I get an opportunity to actually play Imperial Struggle with someone who can understand how to play Imperial Struggle. So Flaming Heron says there are a lot of good GM screen packs out there. There are. It used to be just, and I mentioned it, I think I might have mentioned in both the reviews. Used to be you just, 15, $20, you got a Game Master screen, and that was it. Now, $25, $30, you're getting a bunch of stuff with your Game Master screen. So very cool. And of course, Flaming Heron says, I was just happy to have a screen back in the day. So other reviews are on the horizon. Tiny Epic Mechs. Give you a hint. It's not as bad as some people have made this out to be. It is kind of a letdown. I'll be the first to point out. I shouldn't be the first. I'm sure a lot of people have said that. But I've heard people really savage this game. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's bad at all. Also, Dungeon Drop from Game Right have a review that this will probably be the next review. Then Forbidden Lands, The Bitter Reach. I'm almost done reading it, so have a review of that, as well as the Annie Award-winning Delta Green, The Labyrinth. So I am almost finished with this too. All right, last thing I do want to mention. Wow, this is a pretty quick show so far tonight. It's because we don't have hardly anybody in chat. So I am bouncing around the idea because Extra Life is coming up. I think I want to say it's the 23rd. That sounds about right. 22nd, 23rd of August. And if you're not familiar with it, Extra Life, it's a charity event where some people game for 24 hours. And it's mostly video gaming, but there is tabletop gaming representation as well. In the past 2 years, I've gotten together with the gang, Elliot Miller, my nephew Cameron, his girlfriend Lexi. We've had some of Cameron's friends part of it as well. And I have, past 2 years, we've done a charity event and done a live stream. I don't know how we can pull it off this year. I can guarantee I can't get Elliot to show up in person because he and his wife are very, very paranoid about COVID-19, which they should, because Elliot's actually very susceptible. He's one of those, danger. Well, so am I. I shouldn't say anything, I'm one of those people who should not get it. If I get it, it's probably going to be bad. So, and then, Cameron and his girlfriend, I haven't been doing a whole lot of gaming with them either. So I'm almost bouncing around doing something, setting it up to do something remotely and inviting people who watch the show to take part. I don't know. Anyway, I have no idea. Kind of bouncing that around. And for some strange reason, oh, I know what it is. All of a sudden I heard this. I'm like, is that something with my computer? What's going on here? Now, it's somebody with a chainsaw outside because we had some trees broken and smashed apart. So they must be out there kind of clearing it away. All right. So I'm just kind of bouncing that idea around. Maybe run a role-playing game or something and stream it. I don't know. So the Madman says, I don't think Tiny Epic Mechs is bad either. Looking forward to playing Tiny Epic Dinosaurs and receiving the Tiny Epic Pirates Kickstarter. So I know the Madman had mentioned that he had received the Tiny Epic Dinosaurs, and the little dinosaur meeples are tiny. So supposed to be pretty small. All right. So Flaming Heron says, hopefully the end of the stream isn't cut off. Yeah, like last year. And it was funny because last year I made sure that we finished under 12 hours because according to YouTube, YouTube will end the stream after 10 hours. It won't save anything after 12. Did I say 10? 12. After 12 hours. and I made sure that we wrapped up at like 11 hours and 50 minutes. And I'll be damned if YouTube didn't cut off like the last, I don't know, half hour of the stream. It was kind of a pisser because I think people missed out. Not that there were a lot of people who watched, but they missed out on the end of the Call of Cthulhu adventure I was running. So Mark Client says online games are very popular on Twitch and YouTube. I know. So the Madman says, I was surprised how small those dinosaurs are. Very easy to lose. I think one of my cats could easily swallow one. Huh. No, I don't know. I have no idea. All righty. So, unless there's anything else we should discuss in chat tonight, I'm going to wrap up. I'm trying to think anything else that I'm forgetting to mention. No. Spent hours at the at the cardiologist. And the thing is, now next Monday, I have an appointment with my cardiologist, who is, man, talk about having absolutely zero sense of humor. Every time I see her, I like crack a joke, and she just gives me this like dead look. Like, what? Anyway, so I talked about that. I talked about the weird storm that blew through that knocked the power out. Talked about thinking about doing the Extra Life. I'll have to talk. I got to talk to Elliot. I was going to call him today, and then we had that storm blow up. So I will talk to him, see what he thinks. So Flaming Hair says, well, call me interested if you run a game on Steam. Cool deal. Well, I have to point out what I would probably end up doing is people would have to make a donation to be part of the game. Got to point that out. So, I mean, we never draw that many people watching live anyway, but it's fun. And, you know, we've raised a few $100, so that's kind of cool. All right. That is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ring that notification bell. It'll tell you not only when the Daily Dope streams live Monday through Thursday nights, or right here on YouTube. It'll also tell you when I upload reviews and unboxings and first looks and page throughs and interviews and so on and so forth. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Those of you who hung out in chat tonight, thank you very much for keeping me company on this Monday evening. So, Flaming Hero says, well, as long as you don't expect my life savings. No, I think I would probably do something like a $20, $25 donation. And I'm going to see if we can try to get some giveaway stuff too. That's always hit or miss with some of these companies. Anyway, those of you who watch live, thank you very much. Of course, if you watch after the fact, maybe you're even watching on Memorex. I appreciate that just as much. Hell, I appreciate anybody taking some time out to watch my goofy ass Babylon for, 45 minutes to an hour, 4 nights a week. Anyway, everybody enjoy the rest of your Monday night / Tuesday morning. I'll be back tomorrow. And of course, as I chime out on every show during this pandemic, please do your best to be smart and stay safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. And of course, if you want to catch up on past episodes of The Daily Dope, check out this playlist. And if you'd like to see what YouTube's recommending you take a peek at from the channel, just give a click right over here. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer, and once again, thank you very much for watching.